Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ambassador's Lounge new episode. Today we want to discuss the recently held talks in Urumqi through the mediation of China. Pakistan and Afghanistan participated at the experts level. And after the talks, which ended on the 7th of April, there has been a positive statement. Chinese spokesperson described the talks as constructive. And the Afghan side also spoke positively about the talks. From Pakistani perspective, it was just said that these talks would continue, and then we will also monitor the situation. How it can address Pakistan's concerns still is an issue which is being discussed. And again, we are lucky to have Ambassador Salman Bashir, our former Foreign Secretary, and a strategic thinker, I think, without doubt. And he's our guru, there's no doubt about it. And we always seek wisdom from him. And today we want to discuss about these talks and how it's going to proceed further, which can address Pakistan's concerns, especially with regard to the TTP. TTP is taking shelter in Afghanistan. Almost 6,000 of their cadres are there. If you include their families and next of kin, then the number grows to almost 60,000. And actually this number is being sustained in that country, which has 97% poverty rate. Would not be possible. So therefore, external factors are also there, including the major factor is India. It is no doubt, and then now there have been evidence about India's involvement through Afghan proxies, and they have been using some of the Gulf states to disperse money to the TTP. TTP cadres are receiving this money through Afghan proxies, and we, while India denies it, but Pakistan has much better intelligence, and those proofs have been given, not only through Pakistan's dossier, which it gave to friendly countries, to the United Nations, but also to the Afghan Taliban. However, the problem is still there. So, sir, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And then, Salek is also our Afghan expert. He happened to be Director General of Afghanistan, has been dealing. And then, since we are neighbors, so in the Foreign Office, I think about India and Afghanistan, you cannot remain aloof during your careers. So Salek has been deeply involved in that. So I would begin with the question that you think that Chinese mediation, how it is going to succeed, reason being that you have served in China also, you know much better how the Chinese work, and also Salek was your deputy in China. So you were a very effective team. So just wanted to pick up your brain about this entire thing relating to Afghanistan, how it is unfolding.
Well, yes, thank you very much. First of all, let me say that with Salek, we had excellent time. We worked together very closely during our Beijing days. As far as Afghanistan is concerned, I think that for plenty of years, the Chinese had left it to Pakistan to play the role that they thought that Pakistan was in a better position to play. I remember the time when the Chinese ambassador would come to me. I had retired, but he would, I'm talking of Yao Jing, for instance. He would say, and he would say that, our leadership depends on Pakistan for us to be able to sort of convince them. And their main interest was to get the CPEC going to Afghanistan.
Right.
And this was still the time when the war was going on. And my point to the Americans was that why don't you just allow the economic component to come into play? Because without improving the economic situation, you will not get anything. You can have democracy, which the Americans tried to do, rigged democracy in a way, but without any fruits for the common people. So the CPEC was one way, CPEC plus vision, that is what I used to call it, CPEC plus. And so Afghanistan was a logical choice, to become part of it. But then, of course, more recently, we have seen that that Pakistani government has been able to, of course, for good reasons, take kinetic action against Afghanistan. And the picture has completely changed. So I think one thing which one must sort of admire and respect is the Chinese sense of propriety, so they have always been of the view that the best thing for neighbors and close neighbors is to have a good economic relationship, right, because that is the building block for a partnership for peace. So I think and then of course you have participated yourself, Mr. Durrani, in some of these talks
yes,
as the special representative of Pakistan, with the Chinese, with the Russians, with the others. And it is quite evident that the trilateral, Pakistan, Afghanistan, China trilateral, was a very useful forum. Right. I mean, it was the foreign ministers who would meet occasionally, and the Chinese were the ones who suggested this. Now, of course, China has its own interests in Afghanistan. When I was in Beijing, this was 2005 to 2008, I know because of the Chinese companies who would come to us and say that, they have invested in mining, right, and they would require railway tracks from Kabul to Peshawar and down to Karachi to export the ores to China.
Right.
Now, this is plenty of years ago, but having said that, the point is that the Chinese have made some important investments in Afghanistan. So they have their interests as well. And they are not too much worried, I would say, about the political complexion, because politics is a changing thing right, every day. Today it is one, tomorrow it may be another. For instance, during my days as the foreign secretary, we used to go to Kabul and meet President Karzai. And he was very nice, very kind, yeah, and we had good relations. It was always Pakistan's policy to respect whoever was in control of Kabul, whether it was the communists or, since then. True. But then the TTP issue has come to the surface. And I think that the TTP issue requires an approach which is probably out of the box. It doesn't have to be basically attacking Bagram. I mean, what's the point of attacking Bagram or bombing cities in Afghanistan to kill the TTP? It has to have a political angle to it. Mm-hmm. So I think, I hope that we will be able to reach some sort of a conclusion on this issue with the Afghan Taliban, with whom we have had deep historical relationship.
Correct.
We cannot sort of say that, they were, this is what the Americans were telling us all the time. That you are patronizing people who are like snakes who would come to bite you. And this is exactly what it has come to now. So the TTP issue is a political issue that, to my mind, requires a political solution rather than a kinetic.
So you have raised many important points, and in fact, those need more discussion. But Salik, I think I begin with you, and if you can ask whatever you think there should be.
Pleasure, sir. When you were Foreign Secretary and when you were Ambassador, in both capacities, I think you are the China expert, and as a Foreign Secretary, you have seen the Afghan issue from very close. There was a time when we were at the helm of affairs in Afghanistan, it is said. And it is also said that it was Pakistan which encouraged China to come to Afghanistan and play its role. In the current situation, when we talk about China-Pakistan economic corridor, of which you are not only you witnessed it, but you were in the, I would say, one of the pioneers who conceived, and then you further, it was strengthened by the successive governments. Don't you think that China-Pakistan economic corridor, as you mentioned as well, that at one time China wanted to expand it to Afghanistan? Besides the security and other issues, and in your remarks, you also mentioned that economic activity is one of the most important thing which is very dear to China. And they do not want any interruption or instability in this region, particularly a region which is part of the China-Pakistan economic corridor. So I think that though the Urumqi talks are quite informal at the moment, but as the Afghan situation is going out of hands and it is going to become very complicated over the period, do you see China's permanent role in bringing both Pakistan and Afghanistan further closer?
Well, thank you, Salik. I think basically there was a time, I think it was 2019, when General Bajwa was the head of the armed forces. There was this Islamabad conference where they said that geoeconomics should be our primary policy and everything else should...
It was in the security dialogue.
Security dialogue.
Yeah, and it was in 2020.
2020, yeah.
2022.
2022.
Last days of Imran Khan.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So basically, I think that is still a valid policy. The Chinese have benefited from what they've been doing economically. They've been able to invest in research and development. As you know, Salik, when they started rather small, but every industrial estate had an R&D center in the middle. And now the Chinese are taking out patents nearly every day. That is the sort of level of their research and development. China has not embroiled itself over the last so many years in any conflict. So they understand the fruits of economic development. And as we all know, they talk about the peaceful rise. And this whole thing about US-China hostilities or acrimony is based on the Western mindset, in the Western, it's a Western construct to look at the world from the prisms of what happened in Greece or Rome or whatever. And it's a mindset that is alien to the Chinese. So the Chinese believe in peaceful partnerships. And CPEC, of course, is one important aspect of that. Now, sorry, you said how did
my question was that whether Chinese role in bringing the Pakistan and Afghanistan closer, would they take some permanent role into it?
I think the
because
Chinese,
this Urumqi thing is quite informal.
You're quite right. Actually, it is informal, but the point is that the Chinese have always advised us, and they are doing themselves, that they want to foster these partnerships. I think in today's world, their partnership on the Belt and Road has increased to about 150 or 149 countries. Yes. So they would be most upset with the present friction between Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Affecting CPC.
That is true, but also even otherwise. I mean, we've had such excellent relations for over 70 years with the Chinese that they would not like to see Pakistan and Afghanistan into a situation where each is attacking the other.
Sure.
So I think actually, to my mind, the solution for the TTP also is, if there is enough of economic incentives that they could be reintegrated into the Pakistani mainstream, that will be the excellent thing to do. Because in Afghanistan, over 40 plus years, all there has been this turmoil. And therefore, the Taliban also are doing nothing sober or sensible in trying to stabilize the economic situation. So they also believe in this, the gun philosophy, so to say, you know, to see how they could. The other day we were discussing this. I mean, the question of the education of women. Now, of course, the key people of the Taliban who are abroad, say their ambassadors, etc., their children and their daughters are studying here in Pakistan or wherever they are.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think the Chinese will persist. To answer your question, yes, they will persist, and to see how the Pakistanis and they bridge their differences.
So you talked about. I mean, the CPEC is certainly very important for Pakistan. Also, it is a linchpin to the BRI. And then Afghanistan, as you rightly said, China also wanted to include Afghanistan into CPEC. And there was already last year when the three foreign ministers met in China informally. And there was a statement in which, in fact, not only Pakistan upgraded its relations with Afghanistan, but also invited Afghanistan to join CPEC. So in a way, the invitation is very much there. And then another step was taken when Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan rail line was agreed to, and there was a meeting about that. And it was agreed to go for a pre-feasibility and subsequently go for a feasibility within a period of 1 year. And that also happened after that meeting. So it is there. But the issue is that Afghan Taliban, while they are ruling the country, they are still in militancy mode. So they have not come out of that practice, and then they think that by ignoring the issues or not addressing them head on, it can that they can wish away the issue, but it has not happened, especially with regard to TTP. You are right that TTP should join the mainstream. An attempt was made, as you know, in 2022, in which Pakistan government negotiated with them. There was a truce for 3 months that happened. But during that course, there were issues like owing allegiance to Pakistan's constitution, laying down their arms. Taliban were not ready. And then the most important issue was to face the law, especially about the heinous crimes TTP had committed, such as APS, school massacre, in which more than 150 children were killed. So they displayed a non-compromising attitude. And that, in fact, caused frustration. I am myself privy to that they would promise us, Pakistani delegation, that yes, you will see a difference very soon. When we would ask how soon, they would say 3-4 months. And once after 3-4 months, actually, these terrorist incidents would increase. The number of casualties would increase. And then when you would raise this issue, they said, no, come on, there were certain problems. We will, in fact, address this, and then we will, you'll see the difference. The same mantra, but no results. So that has been you can see at least a year and a half that I witnessed, and then before that and subsequently you have seen that military action was to be taken. So this has in fact had a bad impact, and it only benefited those who do not want better relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And you may have seen the statements which India has issued about during these military operations. So where should we go? The question is as if we are in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you have a bad neighborhood, then that's it. I mean, we have had the Indians on the other hand, on the one side, and the Afghanis on the other. But okay, I accept all this. I think at least from my viewpoint or from our viewpoint, it was to be hoped that with the Taliban in power, things would improve, but they have not. And in fact, they have been inclined to do India's dirty business against Pakistan. So I don't know whether one should blame the Afghanis or the Indians, probably both. But again, to get out of this, I don't think that bombing Afghanistan is an appropriate option.
Right.
Because it will not get us what we want. So I think probably with talks, with projects, if you shift from just talks to talking about projects, common projects, then probably you start to change the mindset of the people. We have water issues, we have so many other issues, and with these TTP elements, of course, I mean, as you mentioned, 6,000 is not a very big number. I mean, they could be contained by us at the borders, for instance. But now in KP and in Balochistan, we see a new situation which is been fostered upon the region by the Indians, in terms of this terrorism and insurgency. And so unfortunately, we are in that situation. So,
sir, one question related to this. Asif mentioned that the Taliban, the Afghan Taliban, are still in the militant movement.
yeah, they are in the military.
They are still there. And you have mentioned in the beginning, in the opening remarks, that economic activity is very, very important. When we see the entire Afghan issue for the last several decades, we have seen that everybody has addressed the militant part of the Afghan problem. None so far have been able to focus on the economic activity and developing stakes of the people of, as you said, that the projects should be brought. And those projects should be focused on the economic development of the common people of Afghanistan. This is, I think, we all may agree on that. But the question is that Pakistan, being economically not very strong, China, of course, can play a very important role in that. What other countries, the regional countries and the international communities, you think would be serious to help out Afghanistan from the economic angle?
Well, of course, probably at some point Iran, because they are also contiguous neighbors. Maybe at some point the Central Asians, I don't know. I can't say for sure. But I think all the contiguous countries contiguous to Afghanistan would have an interest in promoting project-type cooperation like the Uzbek Railway, etc., or the TAPI or whatnot. But the challenge is how to overcome this military mindset that is in evidence. And that cannot be it cannot be overcome by just falling into the same trap. I mean, bombing Afghanistan or kinetic actions would hardly be a starting point for such ventures. So I think there is the need for a serious relook at our Afghan policy. I hope that the Chinese will be able to influence it in a salutary manner. And if we are able to give the Afghanis, the Taliban, the government, for now, enough economic incentives, then we may start to see some visible changes. But it's a wishful thinking, I would agree.
So, when we talk about, say, adopting political route or this economic route, sounds very good. But don't you think that in Pakistan, normally, I mean, this Afghan policy was run by the establishment? And you know what I mean. So, but right now, after these military actions, at least this is my observation, that for the first time, establishment wants to have a hands-off policy as far as Afghanistan file is concerned. The way the Afghans are deported, then they don't want to have any truck with the Afghan Taliban. They want to have just a normal relationship and no more, baptizing these Afghans or those who want to seek favor in Pakistan. And this is my impression that in the 47 year of this Afghan crisis, first time actually you want to maintain a distance from the Afghan regime, quote unquote, that behave normally rather than you being, our favorites or.
Yeah.
So this is, so don't you think that it's a right approach?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, if this is correct, then, we need to come up, the Foreign Office needs to come up with several initiatives to engage the government of Afghanistan and allow things to become more normal.
Yeah.
Instead of, you can have military operations, but military operations means that in that area, then nobody else can do normal work.
Right.
But if you have the possibility of containing the military aspects, and as you rightly said, this seems to be the case, then I think it is for the government, the civilian side, to come up with projects, to come up with proposals that on which there can be some substantive talks with the Afghanis. And on such ventures, we'll have, in my view, the immediate and unlimited support of China.
Correct. But here Salik, with your permission.
Yeah, please.
This, we had in 2018, this erstwhile FATA was merged into KP province. And under the amendment, it became, when it became part of KP province, so the promise was 1 trillion rupees to be spent over a period of 10 years, which means on average 100 billion rupees per annum had to be spent from 2018 till 2028. Till the passage of, say, till 2024, after passage of 6 years, only 72 billion rupees were spent. The result and the cumulative impact was that unemployment grew in that FATA region. No substantial development activity could be carried out. And so I think the field was open to the TTP to recruit those unemployed youth because it's a job and they have been performing. So here I think rather than putting the blame on the Afghan Taliban or putting the blame, say, on quote-unquote terrorists, in fact, the governments, including the establishment, they are to be blamed that they could not do their part of the bargain, fulfill their part of the bargain. That now KP, these merged districts are in a bad shape.
Yeah.
And nothing is happening.
It's very sad to see this situation, because when we were in service, we had great hopes of Pakistan, Afghanistan coming together. There was this phrase that Karzai used to use, conjoined at the hip.
Yeah.
But I think instead of all that, we have landed ourselves into a very messy situation. So I think still nothing is lost. We should look forward and encourage the Chinese to play a more sobering role as far as the Taliban are concerned or the government in Afghanistan is concerned. I agree we need to stop thinking that we could patronize anybody in Kabul because it is beyond us. It's a wrong approach. As far as the Durand line is concerned, it is again a non-issue as far as I can see it.
Correct.
And therefore, there is every reason for the Afghanis. They depend on Pakistani, for trade. So I think it is time that we gave economics and other normal things a chance rather than just kinetic.
Pakistan, China, Afghanistan, I think if they join hands, they can, I think, do wonders as far as geography is concerned. That is a big asset. For instance, for us, Afghan geography is a big asset for going to Central Asia.
Yes.
And for Afghans equally, it is Pakistan's geography, which is very important because you have seen that in recent, when the trade routes were blocked, they are still blocked. It has given a lot of damage to the Afghan traders. And we have equally suffered in that. So in such a situation, I think it would be a win-win situation. Number one, not to hinder trade. And then if we think that we have blocked and perhaps we may have taught a lesson to the Afghan Taliban, but we have also victimized the traders. And secondly, we have also blocked our access to Central Asia. Till 2020, our trade with Central Asia was not more than $55 million. But with the coming of the Taliban, it rose to, in 2024, rose to $450 million, and it was growing. And only with Uzbekistan, our trade was projected to be touching $1 billion in the coming couple of years. I don't know the situation now, but this has not happened. So in a way, we can complement each other. This is very much there. So I think, so in conclusion, sir, what options you would suggest that Pakistan should adopt, which may not only bring about stability, not only along our borders and our relationship with Afghanistan, but also it can generate more economic activity between the two countries and beyond?
Well, there are several things that one can think of, but to begin with, less kinetic action, more normal relationship. I, for one, for instance, never understood the logic of, sending back, repatriating these Afghans. I mean, they had lived here. Many of their children and the grandchildren were also born here. So, that is, but that's a separate policy which is already over. But, for instance, I mean, allowing Afghans to have visa facilitation could be one. I mean, the ideal would be to have a visa-free regime for the Afghans. I mean, that is again in the idealistic sense, so that they could come and go. And of course, the security aspects need to be sort of catered to. But I think as far as Pakistan-Afghanistan relations are concerned, there can be no stability in Pakistan or Afghanistan unless both are on the same level. Both are cooperating on the same level. So I think with the Chinese help, we could overcome some of the...
Do you agree that we should continue to seek Chinese assistance?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
As far as, convincing the Afghan Taliban regime to...
Yeah, but I mean, Chinese assistance is absolutely crucial. But we also need to take stock of our projects under CPEC.
Yes.
Because to my mind, they have been stalled. I mean, we have not seen any visible developments on the CPEC 2.
Right.
And unfortunately, some of these things get spoiled because of the politics, because one government comes, the other goes. So these projects which are in the national interest become controversial. But I think we need to really see how we can rectify the situation. And because, as I said, Pakistan and Afghanistan, they are conjoined. I mean, the point is that you cannot have stability and progress in one while the other one suffers. So I think we need to have a more normal relationship.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Salik, unless you have...
No, I think...
Want to add. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan and Afghanistan, as Ambassador Salman Bashir has rightly reminded us, President Karzai's famous quote that Pakistan and Afghanistan are Siamese twins and they cannot be separated. And if we want to separate, then it would be painful and it won't be to the advantage or benefit of any of us. So prudence demands that we should, in fact, continue to improve our relationship. Yes, there may be setbacks, but now, luckily that we have Chinese friends who are mediating, so one can expect that there will be a sobering impact in improving those relationships. So let's keep fingers crossed and hopefully that in the next round of Chinese-mediated negotiations, Pakistan and Afghanistan would come up with practical solutions that can give normalcy to our relationship. Trade can be restored. People-to-people contacts should be enhanced. And then subsequently, not only Pakistan and Afghanistan, but the entire region, especially Central Asia, we can have greater access for the greater prosperity of our people. Thank you so much. Please keep watching our channel and subscribe it. Thank you.